the students are, have a different perspective on this war, right? And they have a limited frame of reference. They are taught from books, from movies, from newscasts, and you're taught from real life experience, military training, real life experience. Maybe you have secret clearance, maybe you've got inside scoop, so you really know the pulse of what's going on. Now they only are limited by what they know, but it certainly causes some uncomfortable feelings for some of the people that I've had go back into the school systems. So that's another thing. Educating educators is very, very important. So I guess what I want to leave you with, because I don't want to take up too much of your time, one of the things is that combat operational stress on this hand, PTSD on this hand, it's just a continuum. A disorder is something that interferes with your life, interferes with your relationships, with your ability to work and just maintain. Combat operational stress, everybody's going to have some degree of this. It's all a degree. And then we know through research now, early intervention is the key. Now, interventions to me comes in all forms. I could get up here and tell you, I'm the way for the intervention, but that's ridiculous. There are so many solutions to this issue, and I think we need to pull out all the stops. We need to look at whatever works for the individual. Any of us who have our feet in the sand and say, my way is the only way, or go on the highway, that is not true. There are so many, many important things to look at. And like I say, I can't stress the relationships with your battle buddies, with your chaplains, with your family members, with your community, with your churches, whatever it is, connect. One of the things I want to say real quickly is you have a different way of communicating too, right? I've got a personal example of this. Okay, I've got this friend, a colonel friend. So I write him these emails, and I mean, I go to the depths of my soul because I can relate to him so much, and I'm so proud of his service because that's my whole life. And I write these, I think, kind of incredible little emails, right? Profound. Well, guess what I get in response? Awesome. One-word answers. So, I mean, and this is so common too, right? How many of you in here have had that experience? Okay, so I know it's a different way of communicating. The military, you have to be so succinct and concise and short and to the point. Just the facts, ma'am. And so, and here we are, we elaborate and we give adjectives and emotions and blah, blah, blah. So if you guys can just give 2-word answers, that would be an improvement. So communication and connection is so important. And so us who think you could write at least a paragraph back, of course you would in a briefing, right? You write these long briefs, right? But we get these 1-word answers. But really, do your best to really communicate with each other and try to meet each other on your levels and respect each other and honor each other. And that's one of the things that we don't have in this society as of yet. But meetings like this are going to spark this. We don't have the means of honoring our warriors back into our culture. Many other cultures that have gone before us, ancient Greek cultures, Native American warriors, they are met outside the community. And they may have a red feather ceremony that's equivalent to our Purple Heart, where they'll show their wound or they'll reenact their wounding process. Or maybe they'll just sit and they'll talk with the elders and they'll put them in the river or they'll bury them in dirt or they'll sage them or whatever, smudge them off. Whatever it is, they are cleansed and they're purified in their souls. When they're ready, they're reintroduced to the community. In the meantime, the ones inside the community are also learning about how to welcome their warriors home, how to honor them, how to be a second set of eyes, how to aid them in the process of their journey. It's not the destination. This is a journey. This is a lifelong journey. And so we all have to work in collaboration with each other. and realize that if we can rely upon each other and welcome our warriors back so they can stand with pride and honor for what they do. And we, as the ones who are welcoming them, welcome them with open arms without judgment. We'll come a long way. And that also goes with encouraging your guys and your women who are serving our country, who may feel that their jobs are on the line, their careers are going to be ruined. We have got to change that stigma. We have got to work together in order to break through those barriers so that we can normalize the fact that PTSD, and I know many of you would probably shoot me down for this, but I'm going to say it. For me, I go out here, I say it to thousands of people, PTSD is not a mental illness. It is a group of behaviors, thoughts, and patterns that someone uses to cope with something that's outside the realm of a normal human experience. Who wouldn't act like some of these things are being exposed to what you do? It's a normal response within the context of what you've experienced. Now, for those on the outside, they may think, well, this isn't normal. Well, maybe for them it isn't. That's why it's so important for clinicians to really know who they're sitting in front of. And they really understand the culture. And they're there to aid and help you through this process and through this journey. So, anyway, I just want to tell you that we've all got to do this together. We've got to be aware of the suicide rate. One other thing. One of the other things really important, suicide. This is really important. I think it's really important. We know the suicide rate is very high. And someone mentioned to me yesterday in the Marines, it's not as high. But unfortunately, 2 weeks ago, Lance Corporal Tim Nelson from Bellingham, Washington, where I'm from, took his life. And nobody knew anything was wrong with this young man. He was perfectly fine. Okay? Now, this is the issue. You warriors out there are experts at hiding your emotions. It's like, yoo-hoo, nobody's home. It's a coping mechanism. It's tactical. It's what you need to do in the heat of a battle. You cannot let your enemy inside here. You've got to be one step ahead of them, and you have to mask whatever you're feeling in here and come out as a warrior. And that's usually in rage and anger that's targeted in a certain direction. That's part of being a warrior. On the other side of that, you're also experts at understanding nonverbal communication, eye contact, voice intonation, physical presence. You can tell if someone's not really genuine, if they're just feeding you a bunch of lines. You can read people really well. So my challenge to each and every one of you in uniform here is to really open your eyes to your buddies next to you. And the same thing with the wives, if there's any FRGs in here, same thing. Look at who is sitting there with you. If you find that you have your buddy, you guys go out for a beer every once in a while, and all of a sudden he's starting not to do that, or she isn't, or maybe whatever it is, or you go get a massage and she's not going to do that, whatever, any little nuance of change in that direction, please be proactive. Go over and say, hey, you know what? You're not going to be by yourself tonight. You're coming home with me. You're going to sleep on my couch. Same thing with the wives. We have wives that are hiding behind closed doors drinking, who are neglecting their children because they are so overwhelmed with grief they don't know what to do. Maybe their families aren't near them. Maybe they don't feel like they can reach out because maybe they're an officer's wife and they have certain responsibilities and expectations placed upon them. But you know what? This is all about life. These are souls. These are people. Get rid of all the trappings and look at the human component here. And reach out and be proactive so we can change the course of this. And there is hope. And we all have to find meaning and purpose in this journey. And we're all going to grow from it as a community, as a society, and as a military. So I wish you the best, and I really do honor each and every one of you for your sacrifice. Thank you.